Everyone has a right to security of water, energy, and food. But in a world of 7 billion people, 1.1 billion live without clean drinking water, 1.3 billion live without electricity, 1.02 billion are hungry. And it's not like the world is standing still. Population growth and urbanization mean that by 2030, we'll need 30% more water, 40% more energy, 50% more food. Our solutions often treat water, energy, and food security separately, but they need to be seen as interdependent. Water security is key. Water is not substitutable or replaceable. We cannot create or grow more of it. Up till now, it is water that has been the least considered part of the nexus. Many countries are extracting groundwater faster than it can be replaced. China by 25%, India by 56%. That's why 700 million people live in water-stressed countries. And 3 billion will by 2025. It is also why many of our methods of producing food and energy impact on water quality. Whether it's the 17,000 litres of water per megawatt hour that evaporate from hydroelectric dams, or the 50% of nitrogen in fertilizers that isn't absorbed by plants, often running off into rivers. If we carry on as we are, our problems will only increase.
Peak oil. Global leaders are reluctant to confront peak oil. However, peak oil was probably one of the main triggers of the global financial crisis, and it will probably be the issue which forces the world to seriously address climate change. But peak oil is only part of the much broader question of global sustainability, arguably the greatest challenge humanity has ever faced. The immediate problem is the convergence of peak oil, climate change, water and food shortages, now compounded by the aftermath of the global financial crisis. This convergence has been looming for some time, and it highlights the fundamental unsustainability of our global society, with increasing population and increasing consumption within a finite system. The 5 elements are inextricably linked, despite the fact that we still insist on treating them separately. Their convergence has received minimal attention, which is unfortunate, as it is likely to have an effect far greater than the sum of the individual parts. According to the International Energy Agency, IEA, energy demand will increase under a business-as-usual scenario by 45% between now and 2030, with coal growing by 61%. In the light of potential oil supply constraints and climate change concerns, the IEA considered this to be patently unsustainable, which raises the issue of peak oil. Peak oil takes its name from the bell-shaped curve which typifies the production profile of any oil field or oil-producing nation. Once an oil field is discovered, oil wells are drilled, production rises, reaches a peak, and then drops until the reservoir is exhausted. At the peak, oil does not run out, as roughly half of the ultimately available oil remains to be produced. However, it is the point globally at which an increase in the rates of oil production becomes impossible, because production from new oil fields is increasingly offset by the decline of production from existing oil fields. Peaking is evident in more and more countries around the world. As a consequence, the IEA suggested in 2008 that the decline in global oil production might be as high as 6.7% per year. The problem has arisen quite simply because the rates of discovery of oil reserves have fallen dramatically over the last few decades, whilst our consumption of oil has done the reverse.
Basically, there are 4 minerals that come from the Congo that are in every one of our electronics products. Gold and what we call the 3 T's, tantalum, tin, and tungsten. Tantalum stores electricity in your phone. If you didn't have tantalum in your phone, tungsten makes your cell phone vibrate. And tin is used as a solder. Minerals are smuggled out of Africa. They head to Asia, to smelting companies in Thailand, Malaysia, China, and India to be refined. Here, Congo's minerals get mixed together with other minerals from around the world, making them difficult but not impossible to trace. Finally, the 3 T's in gold are processed into components, and they end up all over the world in the products we know and love. Cell phones, Blackberries, laptops, iPods, video game systems, and digital cameras.